What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Steven and welcome to my fake iPhone Unbrick tutorial. Now this is the Sophone i6 Plus, I think, or some rebranded version, I don't have a clue, but this one here is from Live Mall, you can find the link down below. And yeah, it's not working anymore. As you can see, I can press the power button but it doesn't boot. And this happened during charging, so when I pulled the cable it just went off and boom, it was gone. But here you can see it's in 1-to-1 clone and yeah, pretty good replica. It really looks like the original one, but it has some real issues. And today I want to show you how to reflash the firmware and fix your iPhone clone. Okay guys, so here you can see the smartphone, and this is a fake iPhone, so not a real iPhone. This has nothing to do with Apple, even though you can see an Apple here on the smartphone. And this does not represent the build quality of the real iPhone in any ways. Now here in the middle you can see a little hole, and this hole is not a back microphone or anything. This is the hole for the reset button. So just take a little needle or a screwdriver to go in here and to reset it. This also triggers preloader mode if connected to a computer. And you need to do this if you want to flash your smartphone, because you cannot remove the battery. So in order to flash it, you need to connect it to your computer, then hit this reset button here, and then it should work. But anyway, on my iPhone clone the reset button is broken, so let me show you another way. Oh yeah, so as always the easy way didn't work, but let's have some fun. Let's open this piece of shit up and let's see what it has got under the hood. Now to open it up you need a very small Phillips screwdriver, some flathead, or you have some very small Torx screwdrivers. But anyway, you can also take a sharp knife or anything to open up the two star screws at the bottom of the phone. It's just like on the real iPhone, so it opens up the same way, I guess. But yeah, it's not a real iPhone, just to say this once again. And now let's open it up. Okay guys, so here at the bottom you can see the two screws we have to unscrew in order to open it up. Now you can see the frame is a bit deformed because I had to open it up once. Because yeah, it was just stuck, I couldn't do anything, I had to remove the battery. This was really annoying. But now today, let's do it again. So let's just unscrew the screws. You can take a flathead, you can take a sharp knife, so anything you want to. But just make sure you apply enough pressure and you don't damage the screws. Okay, after you have unscrewed the screws, just store them in a safe place because they are very small and you can easily lose them. So I will just get them out like this. And you can see those screws are very small. So just make sure you don't lose them because it's very hard to get those screws. Okay, then let me show you how to open up the case. So now you need to separate the display and the glass from the rest of the phone. So I use those guitar plectrums and actually they are a bit too thick, so a case opener tool is a bit better. But yeah, it also works with a credit card if you're careful. Now you just go in here between the glass and the frame, and as you can see it comes off, so you just have to squeeze a little bit. And you can see, yeah, it comes off, and you just go with the guitar plectrum all around the frame and it will come off. So just be careful not to do this on the top because there's the LCD flex cable and you could maybe damage it. So just do it here at the bottom, start at the bottom, go a little bit up the frame, and then you can lift up here the glass with the display. But just be sure to do this careful because as you can see here at the top we have the LCD flex cable, also the digitizer flex cable, which is one piece, and this is connected here to the mainboard with this connector. And yeah, just remove it carefully like this and it will come off, or just remove the connector. Okay, so we already have opened it up, so why not have a look at the hardware. Now first of all, here we have the display, so that's the LCD cable, and also the digitizer is connected here with a connector to the LCD flex cable, and there's just one cable which goes to the mainboard, which is this one. And yeah, that looks kind of nice. Most China clones have two cables, but here it's just in one. Actually, it doesn't matter. Here we have an antenna connector, so maybe that's GPS or Wi-Fi, but we also have right from that a second one. And yeah, that looks kind of nice, and also this one had a much better GPS reception than my other iPhone clone like the Wii phone. And yeah, here in the middle we have the speaker, here we have another antenna connector, I guess that's Wi-Fi or something. Then yeah, here we have the back camera, this is also on one flex cable directly connected with the front camera. Here we have a micro SD card slot. I think that's really nice because you can extend the internal memory. You just have to open it up and put in here a micro SD card. So if you want to tune your iPhone clone, then just put in here a bigger SD card. Okay, then here we have this big battery pack, and yeah, I was really impressed that there's such a huge battery in here. And it's pretty good on this clone because it's not soldered to the mainboard, so it's connected here with a connector, and you can easily remove that with a screwdriver. So I was really happy to see this, because if you flash your smartphone a lot and this damn reset button is not working, then this is your only chance to get the preloader connected to your computer. Now here we can see the power key, also there's a pad on the mainboard to, for instance, bridge it or something. Then here we have the SIM card, so we have here the nano SIM card tray. Here we have an RF shield, probably some MediaTek chips under that, but I guess the main chip is on the back side. Then here we have the vibration motor, which is soldered to the mainboard, here the GSM antenna connector. Here at the bottom we have the bottom PCB with the lightning port, also here the button, so the home button, which just supports fake Touch ID, so this is nothing more than a standard button. But anyway, it supports this fake Touch ID thingy. And also here we have the speaker, so this looks really big. Okay, now here we have the battery connector, so once again the battery. And what I will try to do now is just get out the battery of the case, and then we can have a closer look at the mainboard too. Okay guys, so here you can see the battery. It's a 2000 milliamp hours battery, which was taped to the metal back cover. I doubt that it is really 2000 milliamp hours, or maybe just the clone was shit because the battery lifetime was not even 1 day, so that was total shit. Anyway, we can see here the flex cable, which is connected here to the volume rockers, and also the antenna layout on this clone is much better than on the Wii phone, for instance, because I had working GPS on this one and it wasn't really bad. Then let's have a look here at the mainboard again. What you can see is that some screws are missing, and I didn't remove them, so the screws were just loose here in the case, and this was really strange because some of the screws were also just half in, so yeah, they just assembled this here in 2 minutes or something, and the overall build quality from the inside is, yeah, not really good, but what do you expect for a $150 iPhone clone? Okay guys, so I have also removed the mainboard, so let's just have a closer look at this. Now I have no clue why the reset button, which you can see left from this LED flash here, is not working. It looks pretty good, but anyway, it's not working for me. Then let's just have a look at the rest. So the speaker here is soldered to the mainboard, we have here many golden contacts and also those golden test points. And this is one way to unbrick it for sure. If you can't get the preloader connected, then just ground each of those test points step by step. And there is some test point, so the real hardware test point, the reset point, which triggers the preloader, and if you just ground that and solder bridge that, then you can get a stable preloader connection. But anyway, I have an Unbrick tutorial for this method, so just check this out. Now here you can see the MediaTek ARM, it's the MTK6582 SoC, so this includes CPU, GPU, almost everything. So this is a system on chip. And this is why this clone here is so cheap, so you can get this chip here for under $10 on AliExpress. Now let's have a look here at the bottom. So here we have some more chips, RS shields, and also here at the bottom we have some more points, but those are not test points, so those are some other points like VBus and the bigger ones. But the real test points for the preload are the smaller ones above. Now here you can also see the vibration motor once again, it's just taped to the metal back cover. And yeah, basically that's it. What's a piece of shit on my finger? Okay, just some tape. Anyway, that's the iPhone clone from the inside, that's the mainboard. And that is why it is so cheap, because yeah, it is also cheap. Okay guys, then let's have a look here at the bottom PCB. Now here you can see the flex cable, which is actually connected to the bottom PCB and the other mainboard. Here we also have this microphone, which is soldered here to the mainboard. Here we have this fake Apple Lightning port, which works perfectly well also with the original one, so I was really impressed that this is working. 3.5mm headphone jack also here on the right side, and this flex cable basically connects the bottom PCB to the real mainboard of the iPhone. And you can replace this if it breaks down, so this is actually easy to do. And on the other side of the PCB you have that fake Touch ID button, which is actually just a normal home button. And if this breaks down, you can see here a number on the PCB, so just go to Alibaba, Google that, and maybe you will find a replacement part online, but don't expect too much for them. Okay guys, we're now here on the computer, and now let's try to unbrick this shitty iPhone clone here. First of all, you need to download all the things you need. And you can find all the things I'm using here in this video down below in the description, and the upload is on Mega. Yeah, I know a lot of people have troubles with it, but if it doesn't work, just try a different browser like Firefox or Internet Explorer or whatever. But trust me, it will work on the most PCs. Anyway, so just download here the drivers folder. Now this is important, so I will just mark this one. Then all flash tools, because we want to flash it. And maybe also MTK droid tools. So I think that's all you need. Okay, so just place all this shit here on your desktop. And there we go. Okay. And now the next quest is to find a working stock ROM. Okay guys, so finding the correct stock ROM for your smartphone is the most important step ever. Because if you don't have the correct ROM, the smartphone won't boot, also if the flashes successfully. And this is a really pain in the ass if you don't have a backup. Now let me tell you a little story. So for instance, if you also flash a backup from a different iPhone clone, or it could even look totally equal to yours, there could be different hardware inside. This is because there are many factories in China and they are all unknown and they all produce those iPhone clones. They also provide, for instance, OEM service, so you can put your own logo on these and all other crap. But anyway, all those different factories are totally unknown because, yeah, they don't want to say, hey, we fake iPhones. And also they use different hardware, so they try to find the cheapest hardware, and also they switch sometimes hardware from model to model or from month to month, so this really depends. And what I can say, you should open it up if you don't have a backup, just to check out the mainboard number, just to check out the number on the LCD flex cable, and then just Google it and try to find the correct stock ROM for your smartphone. Now, if you don't have a correct stock ROM, yeah, your smartphone won't boot even if the flash is successful. Now, you can try to find a stock ROM here on needrom.com. So I have here, for instance, the Sophone i6 Plus, so I will just see if it works on my clone. And this one here is listed by Styler, you know, that guy who does those reviews. And what you should check out is here hardware. So this is basically your chipset. So here it says MT6582, so that's correct. We have a quad-core clone because I have the MTK6582 too. Now here you can see the LCD driver IC, this is also important. Forget all the other shit in here because the build number is mostly the same on all smartphones. Here also the build date is totally useless. The baseband too, kernel too, because that's a standard kernel. So just make sure you know your hardware, so your MTK chipset, and also the LCD driver IC. Maybe also check out the storage. If you, for instance, have 4 GB and here it says 16, this also maybe won't work. But anyway, the most important things are the LCD driver IC and your chipset. Now, in order to download something here, you have to register, then log in, and then you can download the ROM. So make sure you have the correct stock ROM for your smartphone. If you can't find one here, then also check out chinadevices.com, so we will try to help you to find a stock ROM. But anyway, I have here a backup. I was really lucky I did a backup because I did fucking know that this iPhone clone will break down. And here in backups, no, I think it's right over here. Oh no, it's also not in here. Oh, yeah, it's here. iPhone backup. And in here you should find the phone info. And here you can also check out your LCD driver. So if you are looking for a ROM online, then the best way to find one is just you take that LCD driver IC here, and then you go to Google, and then you just Google that number, and mostly you can find then a ROM, because this is kind of unique. All the other shit here is pretty common on the most firmware, so don't Google that. Okay, so I have a backup here, so all I need to do now is flash this to my smartphone. And if you have huge problems with that, for instance, if your smartphone doesn't get detected, if you can't get the drivers installed, then maybe check out my Unbrick tutorial for every MTK phone. Because in this video I just want to show you how to flash it and not go into the details because this will just take too much time. Anyway, now let's get started and let's try to flash this piece of shit. Okay guys, so now it's time to flash the smartphone. First of all, we need to get it detected, so connect your smartphone to the computer, make sure it's off, and hit the reset button through the reset hole at the backside of the smartphone. But if that doesn't work, like for me, then you just have to open it up and remove the battery. You just have to unscrew the 2 screws which I've shown you, and then you can easily disconnect the battery. Now, it doesn't even have to be in the case, so I just have here the mainboard on my desk and this works perfectly well. So what we're going to do now is we just hit up the control panel, we go to System here and into the device manager, okay? And now you just connect your smartphone to the computer using the USB cable. So let me just do this. Boom, there we go. And now it should pop up here under ports, COM and LPT, and it disconnects every 2 seconds, so this is very common. But what I have to do now is just switch off my sound because this gets annoying. And yeah, you see also my mouse stops working during this, so this is really annoying here in the device manager, and it should pop up here as the MediaTek preloader. But yeah, it disconnects and this is very common. Now, if it also interrupts the flash, then you have to try my Unbrick tutorial and bridge the reset point with ground because the preloader can't achieve a stable connection. But anyway, we'll just try it now without this. So the phone is still connected. I will just disconnect it right now because it's detected as MTK preloader. Now, if there's a yellow triangle, let me show you what you have to do. So if you, for instance, have a yellow triangle on your preloader here, you just do right click on this, you go to update driver software. But yeah, you have to be really fast because it disconnects. Then you go here to browse my computer for driver software. Then you go to let me pick from list. And then you go to have disk. Then you go to browse. And now you just point to the driver folder on your desktop. So this should include here all MTK USB drivers. And here once again. And here go to the MTK 65XX preloader. Preferable Windows 7. And here choose Windows 7 or 64 bits if you have 64 bits. Those drivers also work perfectly on Windows 8. But if you have Windows 8 and 64 bits, also on Windows 7, be sure to disable driver signation enforcement when you start the computer. So after you start your computer, press F8 and make sure you disable this because there could be a problem with installing the drivers. And yeah, we have a lot of tutorials on chinadevices.com on how to install the drivers correctly because this is an important step. If you have a yellow triangle or unknown device or something, it maybe won't work because SP Flash Tool needs to detect it properly. Okay, so I quickly had to download the firmware because yeah, I'm using the firmware from NeedROM. I just want to check if the firmware which Styler provided is a little bit better than mine, but yeah, let's just see. And I have downloaded his firmware, so you can also find it down below in the description. And he uploaded the whole ROM, but there's a missing cache and user data partition. Now, this is not necessary if you have a firmware on your smartphone, but if you, for instance, format your smartphone because the firmware is broken or you just mixed up something and then you re-download it to a clean eMMC, then those 2 partitions are missing. So mayiandjay provided cache and user data, and you can find this in this zip. So the download link is also down below in the description. So just make sure you download it. And it's called Sophone files or something. So just check this out. And in there you will find user data and cache. Okay. So make sure you copy those 2 images and you just copy them to Styler's ROM. Then you have actually a full working ROM. This is the ROM from Styler just with the user data and cache, which was missing. Okay, so basically now we have the ROM ready to flash. So let's just enter the SP Flash tool. Be sure to choose the latest version. Currently it's 5.14. If you use 5.13, that's also okay. And be sure to run it as administrator, so this is important. Now, first of all, it will ask you for a scatter. So go here to scatter loading and be sure to go into the ROM, which you want to flash. So where was it? My backup? No. Files to flash tool. Oh yeah, it's here. And you just load that scatter file, okay? What it should do, it should load all the images. If something is missing here, you have to double click and then you can choose it, okay? You just have to click here on the path if it's empty, just like user data, which is missing here. So you have to go to desktop, files to flash tool, and then you just choose here user data.image. Now, as you can see, it's ticked now and there's a valid path. So this is a common problem, and yeah, just make sure that you have everything here ticked. Now, just to make sure that the flash will be successful, we're going to format the smartphone too. So this makes sure that the eMMC, so the on-board storage, is completely clean. But just make sure you go to format whole flash except bootloader, so this doesn't wipe your preloader partition. Anyway, let's just go to start. And what you just do now is you connect your smartphone. And if you now have a working reset button, just connect it when it's turned off and hit the reset button. And if you just have it like me with battery removed, just connect it without the battery, and there you go. So I will do this right now. Just give me a second. Okay, so it's connected right now. The first thing you should see is a red bar downloading DA, then a yellow bar, and then a green tick, which means format OK. I now get an error message because I did the format before and the phone is already empty. Okay, so when you have done the format, let's go to download and let's download the ROM. So make sure everything's ticked except preloader, hit download, so it's now in download mode. And now you connect the smartphone to the computer. Make sure you hit the reset button if it's working on your device. If not, just connect it without battery. It will go in preloader mode. It will be detected by the PC in the right bottom corner, as you can see in the SP Flash tool. And now it's downloading the flash. So first of all, a red bar, then a yellow bar. And downloading the flash can take up to 5 minutes, so be patient. Just be careful, don't touch it, so don't pull out the USB cable. And just wait until it goes up to 100%, and you can see a green tick which says download successful. Okay, so I will now do a cut, and after this we'll just see if the smartphone boots. Okay, now the flash was successful, so let's see if it boots up. Now everything is connected, it also works when it is not in the case, and let's just hit here the power button. And yeah, oh yeah, media tag. So the boot animation is gone, but mayiandjay provided a code which works perfectly well to change it back to the Apple. But anyway, I prefer everything stock Android. I would also like to change the launcher to stock because I really hate this iOS theme shit. Anyway, it's now booting up and it looks like it would work. So let's see if it really boots. So if I'm in a boot loop, no, it works perfectly. So I'm now here in Android, which looks like iOS. And yeah, it's back alive and it works. I can't believe it, but yeah, it is working, guys. Oh yeah, so I have reassembled the smartphone and it's in perfectly working condition. So big thanks to Styler for providing the firmware and to Jay from mayiandjay for providing cache and user data. So this is the Sophone i6 and fake iPhone, has nothing to do with Apple, just to say this once again. And I hope this firmware fixes all the problems because this was really annoying. I just charged it and it bricked. And seriously, that are fucking damn huge problems. And why do they sell such smartphones if they just brick when you charge it? So this is really annoying and I can't recommend this to anyone. Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching and let's see if this firmware fixes all the issues and I will do a review soon. So thanks for watching and bye bye.